Hello, everyone. We're back after a long hiatus. We finally get Bulge back.
hmm I'm happy to be back.
Bulge
Happy to be
strikes
here with you,
back.
Duck.
Return of the
Yeah,
Bulge.
indeed,
Even
indeed, indeed.
bulgier. Yeah, this
Yep.
summer in theaters. We're discussing what is now weirdly an old film, which is because I'm getting old and everything feels. This is a 10-year
Yeah.
old film, Sicario. It's a great movie. I'm assuming at this point people have seen it, so spoilers abound. Um, about a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago, Bulge and Caleb were on to discuss No Country for Old Men, and I had
Yes.
suggested that this is in some ways a companion piece,
hmm
or could be billed as a double feature, definitely. Um, Not just because it has Josh Brolin in it, but that's part of it.
hmm
But also because it's like border weirdness, liminality. What is a border? How do you enforce a border? What is all these things? Yeah, we're just gonna talk our way through it. I mean, I have kind of one big theory I'd like to drop about this,
Oh, yes,
but
please.
I do have a theory. But we'll just sort of talk
hmm
about it, I guess. First, we'll introduce ourselves and the people to it. So Bulge, I'm assuming you've seen the movie when it first came out. I'm guessing,
I
or
did not see it when it first
okay,
came out. I wasn't that interested in it for some reason. I remember seeing the movie posters in the cinema for it and for its sequel. But I didn't see it until like the pandemic. And I was like,
okay,
yeah, okay. People are,
yeah,
I really liked Blade Runner.
yeah,
And I really liked Prisoners.
yeah,
So, which is I think his first English language film, Villeneuve's, that is the director's. So
yes.
I was like, everyone is like, Sicario is amazing. You should watch it. Okay, I'll watch it. And it is amazing. And that I should have watched it. They were right. It's a great movie.
It's very good. Benicio del Toro is a really good actor.
Yes, he's excellent.
Yeah, I really well, I always think of him in The Usual Suspects.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting he's in The Usual Suspects because he looks so young compared to
He's super
now.
young. I also think of him in what was that movie with Tommy Lee Jones, Hunters, or
The
The
Hunted
Hunted,
by
The
William
Hunted.
Friedkin. I was gonna mention that because
Yeah, The Hunted.
uh
Yeah, it's a good one.
you you also because Friedkin, the director of The Hunted and The Exorcist, is really hilarious behind the
Yes,
camera, and he
yes,
has a great story about
bit, yeah.
Benicio where just to show how it's both it praise and it's a backhanded compliment almost because Benicio's a very dedicated actor and he really wants to get into the mind of a character, and Friedkin is saying, this motherfucker would come up to me and ask me for like 10 pages on like, oh, but what was this guy doing when he was like on his 10th birthday? Does he have like, what's his relationship to his mother? And I would just give him a bunch of bullshit and he'd go away and think about it. But it would be bullshit. I just come up with it on the spot. I was just like, I want you to do this. I have the script. I know the story. You don't need to think about it. Just do it.
Yeah. What is it? How would it be if I were lying down? If I were lying down,
Yeah.
how would I lie down? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And he contrasted it with Tommy Lee Jones, who was just like, yep, do that, yep, did that, yep, done.
Yeah, yeah.
Really funny.
I mean, I guess it's just a Texan versus Puerto Rican distinction. I guess there's something
Yeah,
like that. And
maybe.
like, yeah. And yeah, in any case, yeah. So Benicio del Toro is a great actor.
hmm
And he looks. Well, I guess now's the greatest, as good of a time as any to pull up my theory, which I had thrown in
hmm
the group chat. Which I think you'll be somewhat amenable to. In that this is okay. This is me being sort of cheeky, but it's also kind of real. Meta ironically, this is true. Sicario is a werewolf movie.
hmm
And I don't just say that because of the iconic line at the end, and this is the land of
The
wolves.
wolves,
But
yep.
that's part of it. But also, I mean, there's if on an intertextual level, Emily Blunt and Benicio del Toro starred together in a criminally underrated werewolf movie called The
Oh,
Wolfman from
I didn't know that.
2010.
Okay.
Yes, and she is the sort of the love interest who is trying to prevent him from wolfing out. Spoiler, he wolfs out quite a bit, but there's this danger sort of. I mean, okay, in that movie it's more of a love romantic interest. I didn't quite get that draw here, but there is kind of this like they
No,
try
he compares her to his daughter.
he
He
compares
says
it
you
to his
remind,
daughter, so it's
yeah.
more of like a fatherly kind of thing, but there is this weird emotional intimacy between the two. I mean, even though he totally abuses her character in Sicario. Well, in both movies, actually, there's a lot of abuse.
Yeah, okay.
But it is interesting. I don't know if Villeneuve meant for that to happen. It kind of doesn't even matter because
Yeah.
there's the intertextuality of them having starred together in this movie, the Wolfman, which we'll have to do some time. I actually contend it's a really good movie that just had really bad CGI, even for 2010.
Hmm.
Had they even not used CGI, it would be an outstanding film. So there's that, plus the fact that there's the iconic line at the end, and this is the land of
Hmm.
wolves. But also, I mean, Benicio del Toro kind of looks wolfy. Like he has a
Yes.
lupine look to him.
Also,
Yeah,
his character specifically went through a transformation
yeah.
before the movie started. It is
He was a
alluded
normal
to
guy.
several times, and
Yeah, he was
he
a
was,
normal guy. Yeah,
yeah, he was a prosecutor. He was
yeah,
a guy following the protocols,
right.
and then the
And
cartel
his
did something
wife is
really bad to his,
beheaded, and
and
his
his
daughter is
daughter is
thrown
dropped into
into
a vat of
acid.
acid, a
Yeah,
vat of acid. Yep.
yeah, vat of
Uh,
acid. Yeah,
and then he transforms into a
right.
Sicario.
Into what this is.
Which
Yeah.
is always funny to me. I was like, really, man? That's the career you're gonna believe me? A lawyer can become like a, like I would be like, oh, he was like special forces or something. Like, no, he was a lawyer prosecutor. I was like, okay, I guess
Well,
lawyers are
I guess
capable of
it's
that.
implied he's working for the Medellin cartel, so he probably
Yes.
got some training, I guess, with
Yeah, yeah, it
like
makes sense because he also
yeah,
looks older. It's like, okay,
yeah, he
this
looks
happened when he
older.
was like in his early 20s or late 20s or something like that.
Yeah,
And he looks like he's 40 something or maybe early 50s.
yeah.
So like,
Well,
okay, it makes sense. It's just kind of funny to me when I first watched
he
this
was
movie. It's like,
in
oh, he was a lawyer?
he was in his late 40s when he filmed the movie. So yeah, I mean, and I think he's
Yeah,
supposed
it
to
makes
play that
sense.
age. So, but yeah, like I guess it's just yes, he's had some tactical
But it
training
does
for
add
sure.
to this as well, the fact that it was such a common job. It wasn't like, oh, he was born and bred like a super
Yeah.
killer. He was special forces. No, no, no. He transformed. Like something
Right.
happened and
He
he
undergoes a
wolfed out.
transformation, and he taps into the animality, right? And the animality is what then allows him to do this, not just like psychologically, but also to like it allows him to think. He thinks like, and I mean, particularly that last little bit of the movie where he takes out,
Hmm.
forget the main boss, Guzman or whatever the guy's name, his family, right? That whole
Alarcon, El
yeah, yeah, how
Verdugo.
he gets into the compound and stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
that is like he's thinking exactly like a predator, right? I'm going to lure this
yeah.
guy here and I'll kill him and then I'll take that car and I'm going to lure him and I'll kill him and take that car. I mean, like going through these, obviously with US air support giving him just
Hmm.
general intel, but no, like he's like this procedural thinking it's like
And he
a
has
wolf.
no mercy to
No
anyone. Like he
mercy.
kills
Yeah.
the Silvio, the police officer, who
Right.
we see him in the few other scenes of his family before the corrupt
Right.
police officer. Also, I don't think we should forget to mention every first, Kate is the only female character. There is one other female actor in this movie in the bank scene.
That's
I don't
right.
think there are
Yeah.
any other. I
No.
don't think there are any other female actors in this movie. There's two of them, and one is an extra.
Yeah.
Uh, she is very physically unimposing, Emily Blunt,
Yes.
compared to the other guys.
Yeah.
And it's important to note that, for example, the first time we see Josh Brolin, everyone else is in suits. The guy's in sandals and like shorts.
Yes. Very,
And
very
he's
spooky.
very relaxed every time. And there's a
Yeah.
very sharp distinction between Kate's world of protocols and Josh Brolin's Matt is his character's
Yeah. I
name,
believe Matt.
Matthew.
Yeah.
Matt's world and Alejandro's world, where
Right.
every guy we meet from Matt's world is like ex-Navy SEALs or pulled from Iraq from
Rangers,
just doing a
something.
tour
Yeah.
in Iraq. They're CIA.
Yeah.
There's also the guy who became a meme on Twitter briefly, the guy wearing like glasses, kind of nerdy looking.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, who says he's like peeing red when we
Yeah,
first see him.
Jeffrey, so that's Jeffrey Donovan. His character Steve. So Jeffrey Donovan, if anyone watched Burn List, so
Hmm.
he's Burn List guy. If you watch that, if or
Long
not
time
Burn List,
ago, I
sorry,
think.
Burn Notice. Sorry, my apologies.
Yeah, yeah.
Burn Notice. From 2010, really early 2000s up through the 2010s, I think. I watched several. That's actually a decent show. It's very kind
I
of
remember watching a
trippy.
few episodes
It's
when I was
fun.
like a
It's fun
teenager.
Miami kind of weird light black. They're not really black ops, they're like gray ops. They're like, we're gonna
Hmm.
work outside the law, but kind of for good. It was actually, I mean, it's very American, but it's very fun. So yeah, I recommend the
Yeah,
show.
no, he was great in it, despite not having that much screen time, especially when you
Yeah,
rewatch. But he's also very relaxed. Like when Kate sees like these mutilated bodies in
yeah,
Juarez, she like has a sharp intake of breath. Her pupils dilate.
yeah,
She's scared. Steve just looks at it, and says, "It's brilliant what they do.
yeah,
Mutilate them.
yeah.
Make people think they deserved it." It's
Yeah.
brilliant. And he has like genuine admiration in his
Yeah.
voice. He's saying it's
Or in
brilliant what they do.
the shootout scene on the bridge where he just looks. I mean, he's got him like the guy like dead to rights, and he just shakes his head once, like twice, like don't
Yeah,
like
don't.
the nope, and the guy goes and just boom, 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 just like
Yeah,
just
it's
kills
great.
everyone in the guards. Like he gave you one warning, like which for him
And
is
you went
probably
for it,
like
yeah.
this great mercy that he's given you. I mean, it is interesting. So I had watched this movie, I think right after it came out on video when it came out. I did not watch it in the theaters, unfortunately. I was a starving grad student and I could not afford to
Mm-hmm.
go see things in the movie theaters. Um, so 20 year 20 I'm aging myself.
Mm.
10 years later now. 10 years later in 2025, watching it again, obviously also at home. Um, I this is interesting. I mean, this is going to get autobiographical, but it's interesting. The first time I watched it, I was struck by just the brutality and oh my gosh, like it made me feel like dirty and gross and grimy.
Mm-hmm.
And then now watching it, I'm like, yeah, it's dirty, gross, and grimy, but I kind of can't get angry at Alejandro. Like even when he kills
Yeah.
the guy's family at the end, you're like, but if he doesn't kill these full family, they're just going to come after him, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not like justifying like child death necessarily, but it's interesting because it's like you see having made a rightward shift in my thinking, you understand, and then learning more about what's going on at the U.S. border, you're like, this is at yeah, you just like this is so mercy is kind of not always merciful, right? Like there's a false
Yes.
mercy to this, right? Like the mercy of letting people just continue to do this is kind of insane, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
and that mercy towards your enemies is important and we are called I mean, obviously the movie is it presents a very not perfect world. It presents, I would
Mm-hmm.
argue, a version of the world in which we live in. Um, particularly vis-a-vis like the US border. Um,
Mm-hmm.
where you do have to get dirty, but and that is unfortunate. And I'm not gonna say that like Alejandro's a good guy, but I can understand why he's doing everything he's doing. Even if maybe
Mm-hmm.
some of his stuff he's doing I wouldn't do, but I can understand why he's doing it, right? Whether or not that's the right choice, I don't know. But it is interesting because there's this concept. I mean, we're taught to be merciful towards our enemies, but if you're being merciful towards your enemy at the expense of your family, right? You're not really being merciful, right? You're being at the merciful to someone who will go in and like eat.
Yeah, you're
You're
being
gonna they're
naive.
gonna
You're
eat
being
your
like
kids, right?
Kate.
Yeah,
You're being like Kate. I think people, the
yeah.
more you watch this movie, the more either contemptible or piteous Kate
I
becomes.
pity her. I don't
Yeah,
have
I've
contempt for
seen
her,
the contempt
but
reaction. My
first
second watch
the
through, I had contempt. Now I pity her.
the first time I watched it, I had total sympathy for her, and maybe I skipped the contempt because now I just have total pity for her.
Mm-hmm.
Because like she keeps being presented with irrefutable evidence of how evil the people they're going up against actually are,
Yeah.
that they would kill all those people, throw them into the drywall of the house, and then kill them horribly, torture them, like basically just like bag them and let them like suffocate to death or worse. We don't really know exactly what happened. Do all
Mm-hmm.
that, then let cops come in, then kill her colleagues, like with like sort of an improvised device,
Mm-hmm.
and then and then like she's like starts to kind of get it but then resists and tries to go back to like you said to the protocol, and then like
Mm-hmm.
the corruption is so deep that a Phoenix, John Berntal's character is great, but a
Yeah.
Phoenix police
The Punisher
yeah,
appears.
is like so corrupt that he's gonna like kill her, like and then like go after her and try to like basically honeypot her to death. It's
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
she sees this and still is like unwilling to press triggers on people. I'm like, what is happening at some
Not
point?
only that, at
Yeah,
the
like
end, she doesn't have the courage of her convictions because she's not like, yeah, okay, kill me. Or when Benicio's walking out, when Alejandro's walking out, shoot him in the back, which she has an
right.
opportunity to. And Alejandro gives it to her.
He
He
gives
sees
it
her
to her,
doing it,
right?
and he
Yeah.
just looks at her and waits until she lowers the gun or shoots him, and she lowers the gun.
Although I will say, as somebody who's not a great shot, but I'm like,
Yeah, I was
you
saying
can't
that
hit him
seems
at
far.
like at that range. Come
I
on,
was
and
saying
like
at that range,
her
that's
gun
like
hand
far
is
for a
already
pistol.
shaking. Her gun
Yeah.
hand's already shaking. She's got a lot of adrenaline. I'm like, you're not gonna hit him. You're not gonna hit him at
Yeah,
that
I was
range.
gonna say like
Yeah,
I've never
yeah,
fired a gun, but even I know
yeah. Yeah.
that seemed pretty far to hit him with like a standard
It
pistol.
looks
I don't know.
like a Sig or something like that, nine
Yeah,
millimeter. I'm like, you're not gonna hit him at that range. But in the movie, it's great, right? Like it works
yeah.
for the film. But you're like, what? Yeah. But yeah,
It's
no.
also important for the pity argument
Yeah.
that I think how this is weird because it almost seems like Villeneuve is like a very if you just saw this movie and nothing else from Villeneuve, you'd think like, oh my God, how did Quebec of all places produce the most right-wing man who ever lived, right? Because
Right.
you have to remember there is one female character in this movie. She is always portrayed as physically inferior and even kind of tactically and in terms of I guess gun wielding, gun skills with a gun, like inferior to
Yeah.
pretty much every single other male in the movie. She is described accurately as she looks like a little girl when she's scared by
Yeah.
Alejandro in that final scene, and
Yeah.
we're supposed to think she looks like a little girl who's out of her depth. You would think this is the most like based right winger to
I
ever come
know.
out of Canada if you just saw this
If
movie.
you just saw
It's
this movie, yeah.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy, man.
Yeah, and it's one of these things where I don't I mean this was made 10 years ago. I don't think a movie I mean in America we're experiencing a rightward shift as well or a shift back to the middle, I guess.
Hmm.
But I still don't think a movie like this could be made today. Like and I don't think like this it's a weird I'm still surprised and thrilled that it was allowed to be made by
Yes.
such a competent director who is a shit lib and that's fine. They all are. They just all
Yeah, but
are.
he's an honest one. You can't make this movie without being honest,
Yeah.
and he's smart at what he's actually an incredible director.
Oh,
There's
I
no way
love Villeneuve.
around it.
I love
Yeah.
Villeneuve. A lot of my friends are shit libs, and I don't. I mean, they're not bad people. They just have bad ideology, right? Like
Yeah.
they just need a software update. But because even with
But
this,
yeah, okay, go ahead. I will
even with
mention that
this, you know,
a
he his
shit lib thing
instincts are
later.
correct. His instincts are
Yes.
correct, and the way he portrays it is, I think, accurate. It's like, of course, Alejandro is brutal, of course, and yeah, Alejandro is working for the Medellin cartel. Why would the US government ever want a Medellin cartel to move in? Because it's less violent than what the various Mexican narco groups are doing, right?
Yeah,
It's
when
the
they get
lesser of
violent,
two
they're
evils.
just as bad. The Alarcon, the head of the what is it, Sinaloa cartel? I forget what it's called.
Yeah, is it Sinaloa? I forget where they are.
Yeah, it's
It's
something
one
like
of
that. Of
those. It's
the
one of those. Yeah.
cartel of the movie, of the
Yeah, yeah.
non-Medellin cartel,
Yeah.
says, where do you think we learned it from? So when they get violent, they get as violent as anyone else, but
Right.
they do it more. They do it. There's, it's less common because they have
Right.
less enemies and they control. They have a monopoly. They have
Right.
less reason to get violent.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I guess I'm not saying Alejandro's a good guy, but I sympathize. I so at this time I pity Kate and sympathize quite strongly with Alejandro. And I could even almost see it in the character's mind's eye where he's like, "Yeah, I'm working for Medellin, but if they cross me or do something, I'll just kill them
Yeah.
too. Like
No,
I'm
it's
willing
important
to
to
kill.
note. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm willing to work with any organization that lets me kill these people,
Yeah,
including
Matt's.
competing organizations."
Matt says this explicitly
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Kate, Emily
yeah,
Blunt's character. He just outright says, "Yeah, he'll work." This also adds to your theory. He works
yeah,
for anyone who will turn him loose towards the people that did this, that made him.
yeah.
It's also like almost monster language. The people that
Frankenstein.
made him,
Yeah,
yeah.
Frankenstein kind
And
of.
it's
Yeah,
turned loose. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, he
turn
is a
loose.
wolf right now. We have him like chained because we point him in the right direction.
Yeah,
And let's hope we don't have to put him down, or else it's gonna get bloody for both of us. So like,
yeah,
let him go.
and it's been a bit since I've seen the sequel. I enjoyed the sequel as
I have
well.
not seen the sequel
Oh,
actually.
so we won't even talk about it. Okay, yeah.
Okay, okay,
I
good to know.
recommend the sequel. The sequel is also good.
Okay.
The sequel, you actually get to see you see something of a different side of him, of
Mm-hmm.
Alejandro. And so, yeah, the second one was not directed by Villeneuve, so
No, it was not.
it's still good. I still liked it, but
Mm-hmm.
in any case, yeah, this you don't need to have a sequel. I'm glad they made a sequel to it. You don't actually need a sequel. This movie works as
No.
just one
Yeah.
story. That there was a so yeah, I can kind of see where Alejandro's coming from. Also, that final scene with him in the in the cartel guy's house is so
Yeah.
Shakespearean. I'm like, this is like
Yeah.
right out of Shakespeare. This
It's
is like
so
just
good.
even the staging of like him
Yes.
sitting back
Yes.
with the silenced pistol, just pointing it at the guy. Like it's all very like stage.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a
Mm-hmm.
stage play. And I'm certain that was done on purpose. But it's just like, wow. I guess I just the first time I watched it, I was just so overwhelmed with like overstimulated, and then I couldn't really pick up on these things. So, I should wait longer than 10 years to rewatch a film. I guess is what I'm learning
Mm-hmm.
from this because like, wow, it's like, yeah.
I'll
Um,
say also because we were talking about
mhm,
Villeneuve as being a kind of a shitlib. This was more common like 10, 15 years ago in Brazil. It's still somewhat common, but you will get pe not shitlibs, but people who are center left and center right and just center. People who
yeah,
like kind of denounce Trump and whatever, who but they will gladly say, yeah, the police should kill every guy who ever sold drugs ever. They should just like shoot him dead, torture him. I don't care. Like I don't care. And like they will be like with CNN and our newspapers every
yeah.
time Trump does something, whatever. But they will also like pretty openly say, yeah, no, we need to like shoot all of them, like right
So
now,
it's kind of
preferably.
like, would this be
So
like,
it's I was just interested to see. It's like,
yeah.
is that his attitude? Is he just a shitlib, but like somehow he got like a South American center left, center right like mindset on this one issue? That'd be interesting. And he's from
It would
Quebec.
be.
That would be
Well,
funny.
is this something like a Bukele approach then? Because I mean, I think of Bukele as a
It's
centrist
not,
who
yeah,
just doesn't
we
want
have this
violent
approach
crime.
every now and then. It worked like it was 12, 13 years ago in Rio. It was a big operation. Uh, I remember still, still to this day, I remember people, adults saying like, who were pretty, again, as I described them, sort of liberal, being like, fuck, why did like the helicopter from O Globo or like CNN or
Yeah.
BBC, but it's not funded by the government, um, why did they film like these guys running away? The police could have shot them. There weren't like helicopter crews there
Oh
filming it.
yeah.
They were
Yeah.
actually angry at the newspaper for filming it. It's
Yeah.
so funny. And they were like very casual about it. I was like 12, 13, and they were
Yeah.
like very casually saying it. And they
Well,
really meant it.
your country invented Brazilification, I guess, is maybe the
Yeah,
way
I
to
mean,
go.
I mean,
So
it's hard not to. It'd be kind
yeah,
of embarrassing if like Argentina did it. It's like, well,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
and
You
we.
got yeah. No, but I mean, and again, I guess this is the movie did make me think about like what is considered Overton window, right? You
Hmm.
can't help but be like, what is considered an acceptable approach to people that are literally monsters? And the solution might be something like find yourself a werewolf who's at least for now on your feed him some werewolf dog treats and keep him on your side because
Hmm.
man, is he really good at these people, right? I mean, and this is and that is such a like a not a such a maybe on the surface nihilistic approach to things, but I think it's kind of like what this is what this is kind of what power has always been, I guess, at some point too. I
Yeah.
was thinking about like this is kind of just why do you have borders? Because you have territorial supremacy over of violence, right? Like, and if you're unwilling to use violence to enforce the border, then what good is the border, right? And so I mean, it is interesting watching this movie 10 years later with a change, a radical change in my perspective, but also just the situation, at least in the U.S. at the border, getting so much worse. I mean, it started back in like
Hmm.
it's always been bad, but it started getting really bad under Obama, and you can see like that this movie is
Hmm.
coming out right around the end of Obama, right? And like,
Interestingly enough, the movie itself also portrays it as a perennial problem because while they are in Juarez, Steve's character mentions that was it President Taft
yeah, Taft
went
came
to
down here.
came
Yeah,
down here, almost didn't go, had 4,000 men with him. Still, they almost called it off because they caught someone with a pistol trying to kill him.
yeah,
And then he looks around and says, "You think he felt safe?"
yeah,
It's
yeah,
really good.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
such a good like piece of dialogue, man.
And it's interesting too because so in the intervening 10 years I actually so I have not been to Juarez. I have no desire to Juarez. I have been to El Paso though.
Hmm.
And I will say it is very weird to be in El Paso because you can quite literally see what I mean it's just across the river.
Yeah,
It's
they do it at one point. A guy
yeah.
calls a Kate up to the roof and hands her
Yeah,
binoculars.
you can see yeah.
Yeah.
Now I never saw any gun battles, but that does happen down there.
Hmm.
El Paso's a really interesting. I mean, talk about liminality. I guess that's the shift to liminality.
Yeah.
Holy shit, is El Paso a liminal place? Um, because you like you're like, this is very America, Texas, but over there is not very America, Texas.
Uh-huh.
Over there isn't just Mexico, it's one of the more dangerous parts of Mexico. And
Hmm.
it's really like half a mile, and I can see it.
It's a half
And
a mile
and
that
I'm
way.
driving on the freeway. It's very weird. It's a weird vibe. I didn't spend long. I was actually headed on my way to Austin, so
Hmm.
I didn't have time to stay in El Paso, but I drove through it in the early morning and I was like, this is weird. This and I thought even back that was back in 2000 actually. or not 2000, sorry, 2020. I'm losing my track of my days, my years. 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So during the pandemic, I drove from San Diego to Austin, and so did it in 2 days, and I was told by a relative, do not spend the night in El Paso. When you do
Mm-hmm.
the overnight in Las Cruces, New Mexico, because it's just 30 minutes away from El Paso, but it's the world of difference in terms of like, well, these kinds of things spilling over across the border. And so I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and Las Cruces is great. I really liked New Mexico quite a bit, even though I was just driving through. I was like, it is the land of enchantment. I was like, oh, New Mexico is not just Walter White blowing things up in a car, right? Like it's actually a wonderful place. But then I woke up early morning and left Las Cruces heading to Austin, and I drove 30 minutes later. I ate my breakfast burrito, and 30 minutes later, I'm like, there's El Paso, and there is literally water. I didn't realize it was that close. I was like, oh shit, it's right there. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
and then I left El Paso behind me, went on to Van Horn, and then farther east, and I was like, thank God. Like there was this feeling of like, because the whole trip going from San Diego to basically through El Paso, I had been not quite totally at the border, but parts of the trip I had been like right by the US Mexico border. And
Mm-hmm.
I told myself before I left San Diego, you're not stopping for anything
Mm-hmm.
because there's nothing out there to help. There's nobody out there who's going to help you. And anyone
Mm-hmm.
out there could potentially quite do something nasty to you. Like, because
Mm-hmm.
this is real. This is a real thing at the US border. And so I was like, yep. And I was driving actually near Calexico, California, if anyone knows where that
Mm.
is.
I do not.
Yeah, and this is not far from the US Mexico border on the California part of it. And I
Mm-hmm.
saw some weirdness on the side of the road. And I was like, that is interesting, and accelerated and kept driving.
Yeah.
Because I saw some people doing something on the side of the road, and I was like, weird, and just kept going. And I was like, I only felt a little bad. I was like, nah, what were you gonna do? And they weren't necessarily in trouble, but it was weird. I'm like, you're not stopping. You're not stopping at
Yeah.
this whole section. What are you going to do? Like nobody's going to help you, right? Like the whole it
Mm-hmm.
is so there's whole sections of the US West, the southern part of the US at the border that are quite literally still the Wild West. I can say that
Yeah.
from having
Alejandro.
been there.
Yeah.
It's really, oh, well, people have cell phones and people have cars. Right. But the people in that area, there's a high percentage chance that they're actually not really looking out for you. They might actually be involved in something really evil. And
Mm-hmm.
you can call what and say goodbye to your wife as you're slowly killed. I mean, like, it's what there's the police aren't going to come. They're far.
Yeah.
They're
What's the response time for a
yeah,
police
what's the
vehicle?
response? And I'm like,
Yeah,
there's
man.
like this area. It's very at least back in 2020 when I did hopefully it sounds like the border has beefed they beefed it up somewhat, but man, there's like nothing out there. So the fact that like anything can happen is a real thing in this part of the US. Like anything can happen at the border. And I mean that like in the most true sense. Like there's weird shit. And it's not all of it necessarily people being killed, just weird, just like
Yeah.
bizarre
Things that are weird. Yeah.
strangeness because it's sort of because the US does not have a good control over our borders. People know this, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of do what you want, and there is a lot of corruption inside our police forces. In not, I mean, I'm not saying everyone's bad, but like it is nice that the movie pointed that out. That oh yeah, like the cartels will just like basically just buy people from the US
Mm-hmm.
citizens to help them in this too, right? Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
just like this so I mean it is an invasion, but it's an invasion with willing traitors, if I can be so
I mean,
bold.
yeah,
There's
if
a
you can
lot of
bribe, if you're
traitors.
laying siege to a city, it's
Yeah,
good to
there's
bribe some
traitors who
guys
are
to open the gates.
opening the gates. And so it's like that means that like that at the US Mexico border, you can't trust police there. And I mean, then that might sound like all woke, but I'm like, no, like literally, you don't know what that guy's really doing. There's a lot of uncertainty. And so
Yes.
this movie captures that very well.
Oh yeah,
Like
and
that's actually
Alejandro
very accurate. So
even
yeah.
mentions it explicitly because we already mentioned the "This is the land of wolves now"
There's a land
line,
of wolves, right?
but just before that, he says you should move to a small town
All
where
town.
law and order still exists.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, there isn't
Well,
law and order
and how
here.
does law and order exist, right? It exists because of that small town, I know you, you know me,
Mm-hmm.
reciprocality, right? Of like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're the sheriff, but you're like an elected sheriff. And like, you know everybody here and everyone knows you. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're not
No Country for Old Men,
no country
Tommy Lee
for old
Jones
men.
character
Yeah,
before the events of the movie.
right. Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, there's no play like it's interesting too because you could call Sicario an anti-Western, I think, in some ways. It has sort of it's not explicitly shot like a Western, but it takes
Mm-hmm.
place in the Wild West, dealing with
Yes.
violence at the border. So in some ways it kind of is a Western, but it's like very nihilistic, right? No Country for Old Men, like you say, is sort of about the loss of like sort of in some ways like the realizing that the American mythos of the lawman, that's the Gary Cooper high noon who could just go in and shoot all the bad guys and it would be great and it's fine now, that probably never really existed. Maybe it existed for some people in certain places at certain times. And No Country for Old Men, as we talked about last year with
Mm-hmm.
Caleb, was kind of like this. An old school lawman recognizes that that is not real and maybe never was really real, and so he has to deal with that, right, as he's going through his investigation. Sicario is like, they're beheading the bodies and hanging him off a cliff. It's just like so it's like rips the bandage completely off and says
Yeah,
this.
brilliant what they do.
Yeah.
Brilliant with that comment
and
as well to
and
punctuate it.
the movie says, Villeneuve says, this is a war zone, which is really kind of actually what it is. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Yep, yep.
and it's like a perpetually simmering war. Sometimes it explodes into violence, and sometimes it kind of goes back, and sometimes it comes, but it's never really over. It's just continually happening. So yeah, I don't know. I guess the movie has unfortunately become, I think, more poignant as over the last 10 years, and that's a shame. Because I mean, as the movie also points out, like real humans on both sides of the border, by the way, because
Mm-hmm.
people on the right in America are we claim that we hate Mexicans. It's like, no, I
No, I
hate
don't.
Mexicans. I just hate violence and I like to have a country, right? People on both sides of the border suffer and are like killed, mutilated, their friends and family go missing, and the movie shows this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah,
It
Alejandro,
ends on the south of the border, actually. We were talking about the
yeah,
last scene as if because it is the most impactful scene, but
it's
the
the
real
impactful scene, but
ending
yeah,
is the football
playing
game that
soccer,
is
yeah,
interrupted by gunfire.
gunfire, yeah, yeah, and that this is sort of just that's life.
Yeah,
Um,
that's life. I think the judge blows the whistle, so they resume the game,
they
and it's
resume the
like a very
game.
darkly comedic moment.
Yeah, I guess because your life goes on and it has to at some point, but it's just yeah, that final scene too. Yeah, the actual final scene was poignant, I think. Obviously I do feel really bad for people in bad parts of the border in Mexico. I don't hate Mexicans. I don't hate Mexicans at all. I understand too that like, the US government has created a lot of these problems by, let's say, I mean, pretty obvious now, I think, to most people who are paying attention, purposely not keeping an intact border, not really enforcing a border, which allows all of this to get out of hand, right? Which allows for chaos, which allows people who are less than scrupulous to gain power, to gain money, to gain influence, right? Because you're allowing disruption to your country. But I mean, it affects Mexico too. Like, and Mexico has its
Mm-hmm.
own can of worms with like how much. I mean, you think the American government is corrupt? The Mexican government. What
Oh
is
yeah.
what is the
Oh
Mexican
brother.
government? Yeah,
Yeah.
what
Oh brother.
Scheinbaum's gonna go in there and like tell the narcos to stop? They'll just kill her, or they'll just laugh at her really and be like, "Have fun in Mexico City, reenacting snake sacrifices or whatever the fuck it is she does." Down there, right? Like, have
Yeah.
fun being a Jewish Aztec priestess or whatever the fuck. I don't really know.
Yeah,
I know
people
I
forget
don't.
as well. It's not Mexico. I think it's Colombia, but like it's not to the level of outright civil war that Pablo Escobar waged, but
Right.
you can sort of imagine. But if you watched Narcos, yeah, that's basically how it goes down. He can just like bomb like the Supreme Court. Like they can probably just do that. It wouldn't be that hard for them if
Well, and
something
I'm
happens.
not an
It's
expert on Mexico at all, but my understanding is that they found it just much easier just to pay people off. It's just much easier to just buy people. You just buy people, and it's way cheaper in the end because
yep.
you don't have to risk violence. You can save your guys. You don't have to have like you just kind of
Yeah,
keep
they're not. Most of them aren't
pay them off.
ideologically motivated. I think, though, maybe there is a Santa Muerte cult in there that I don't know how
Well,
it's the extent of its influence, but
I have
certainly
some.
possible.
It's probably a deep. That's a topic for another day. We need to have
Okay.
pause on for that. Yeah, because the
Yeah.
Santa Muerte thing is quite extensive too. I'm actually kind of
Yeah,
blown.
for I've
That's
heard.
actually interesting you bring that up. I'm surprised that Sicario showed none of the religious aspects of the
No,
narco
there was no
culture.
religious
Yeah,
iconography. Yeah,
you know,
what is it?
another
They
movie.
also sort of avoided a little bit in Elite Squad, the Brazilian not the Brazilian version of Sicario, but sort of its Brazilian companion piece. They sort of
Candomblé
avoid the
or Macumba, yeah, yeah.
Macumba and Candomblé and
Candomblé,
all
yeah.
of these associations
West
that are
African.
kind of with it, but they're kind of adjacent to, so it's like more understandable. It's not like the Santa Muerte. It's all like of all of these guys. These guys are just sort of adjacent to each other.
Well, I
It's
mean,
pretty wild when you can like go around walking the forest and you're like, oh, they sacrificed a chicken here. Like, oh, I can tell.
well,
Or like seeing it happen from a distance is also pretty fucking wild.
yeah, that sounds just like South Florida to me. Right
You know,
there's the
South Florida
Haitians.
is a wild place
There's
to
the
its credit.
Haitians and the Cubans doing it, right? It's the Santeria and the yeah, and the voodoo. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So you've actually seen people like just straight up sacrifice chickens?
Once, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a vibe. That's like this is your
You can
country
usually
invented
tell where they kill
Brazilification for a
animals too.
reason, man.
Yeah. We did a pretty good job at least making them do it in forest, so you can only really see it if
Oh,
you're going to go hiking.
did you
But
hear
yeah, it used to be way more popular.
did
We
you
sort of
hear
pushed
that
that to
like I
margin
think on
out to the
TLE
margin.
on TLE a couple years ago they covered those slew of Santeria chicken sacrifices in or no pig sacrifices in New York City.
Oh yes!
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah!
it happens here too.
Did they
Yeah.
drown the pigs?
They
I
did
don't
something
remember.
awful, like
They did
horrible.
something weird.
Really
Yeah,
bad. Yeah.
like really biz. It's always very bizarre.
Well, it's
It's a
about these
very
you got
weird
to
feeling.
extract the pain, right? There's a real
Yeah,
vampiric we've talked about vampires on the show before. It's a real
yeah.
vampiric kind of thing happening there, right? It's blood for blood. It's real. Yeah. I'm surprised that Sicario didn't show that. I guess they're trying to kind of go for a grounded, non supernatural take on things,
Yeah,
which is
also you kind of
fine, but
need to, unless you put it in the background as like stage dressing, it'd be very weird. The movie doesn't have the runtime to do that because or else
yeah.
it'd feel shallow and like a weird insertion into the plot. Because the plot really is about Kate's character,
Yeah.
and Kate's character is probably not going to be the character
No.
who encounters this. It'd be people like Alejandro and Matt who really go in all
Well,
the time.
yes, except that like I've heard so this is all anecdotally. I haven't experienced any of the Santa Muerte stuff myself. Or if I have, I've been far too gringo to truly understand
To
what the thing
notice.
meant, right? Like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. That now that's probably more likely because I am a gringo and that's fine. But like I know from anecdotally from people who live in South Texas, like in the Rio Grande Valley area,
Mm-hmm.
there it is really a thing. And you will find on the American side like altars and shit set up. And this is clearly people, narcos from the Mexican side going over and like doing a successful run, whether it's of people or of drugs or whatever, and then sort of in to thank Santa Muerte, right? They do some sort of propitiatory,
Mm-hmm.
ritually thing, and you'll see that like you can, and it's also a way to scare people too. On the American side, be like, this is we're like it's a claiming of territory really for their pagan god, if I may be so
Mm-hmm.
bold, right? Like it's a real kind of like Balim Ashtaroth kind
Yeah,
of thing, right? Like they're setting up these pagan altars to terrify, you know.
it's a proper death cult trying to
Yeah, it
invade
really. I
this
mean,
world.
at least they're on. At least they're honest about it. At least they're honest. They're like, yeah, we think death is holy. We're name literally is Santa Muerte. Okay,
Yeah, it's
like
called Holy Death.
holy
Yeah.
death. I mean, like, okay. I mean, I guess I'm trying to think. I'm up here in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, I don't. I think of it as more of a border phenomenon. But I'm certain in actually parts of Seattle here, you could probably find. If I were to go, I don't want to get bad juju on me, so I don't go looking for it.
Uh,
But I'm certain I could find it here.
mm-hmm.
I'm certain in bigger city like L.A. for sure. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Definitely border
New
area.
York,
New
apparently.
York, although in New York, I think it was actually more Cuban Santeria, but I might be wrong. I think it was actually the Cubans, so we can blame the Cubans for that one.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is. I know this is an aside of an aside, but it is interesting because that even though the movie doesn't really show that supernatural aspect to it, the narco lifestyle, right, narco
Mm-hmm.
cultura is very very enchanted, just darkly enchanted. It's entirely a sort of transactional lifestyle, so much so that their religious views are like 100% just this for that.
Yeah.
It's all just this for that, right? Like, I think that also, uh, if if we can read that onto Sicario, even though the movie doesn't display that, I think it also hey, it's becoming more of a horror movie. Is all I'm saying. It's like it's a
Yeah,
werewolf versus death cult movie. Maybe is what I'm trying to argue for, right? Like it's that sounds almost like a Hammer horror movie from the '70s, but like you got this death cult and it invades a town. Well, we have this werewolf guy. We can send
yeah.
the werewolf
Not
guy
only
in,
that, I mean, they
and
almost
he'll
have
just
supernatural powers because we never really see the narco side of the story. So, for example, when Kate goes into the bank, when Matt says, "Don't go into the
yeah,
bank," and she's seen by the camera, it doesn't cut to like a narco sitting at a computer saying, "We got her, boss," like send
yeah,
this guy to the bar. It's like, no, just like shows the camera like an eye
right.
watching her from up above, and then a few minutes later, they're at a bar.
There's stuff that
And a
happens.
guy turns
Yeah,
up out of
yeah,
nowhere. How
out of
did he get
nowhere.
here? And then,
Yeah,
Punisher Man, I forget his name,
John
shows up.
Bernthal.
Yeah,
Yeah, John Bernthal. Yeah,
John Bernthal shows up, and he tries to kill her later after
yeah.
seducing her. And it's almost like magical in a way. It's like, whoa,
Well, it is definitely
they have this much because we never see them pulling the strings together.
right.
And it's just done. It's happened.
Well, it's very quite literally occult,
Yeah,
as in occulted, as in, well,
hidden,
I don't know what that is in Brazilian Portuguese, but it's oculto,
occulto,
oculto
occulto.
in
Yeah,
Espanol, right? It's like it's blocked. Like you can't
yeah.
something's happening that you can't see, and which is quite like literally occult. And so you whether or not there is any, I mean, the movie doesn't say, by the way, there's goddamn demons behind you, but there probably are some damn demons
Hmm.
behind there. And whether or not there are any demons, there's definitely some people who are acting like demons. You would never see where they are. They're doing things. Yeah, because there's no. That's a good point with the whole attempted assassinate or attempted strangling of Kate.
Hmm.
You don't know that there's several steps that happened, and
Yes.
you're told that they happened, but you don't know how they could have possibly happened that quickly. But the thing is, that is they can happen
Because it
that
happens
quickly.
like in like 4 hours in movie,
You
like a
can
few minutes
but
in terms of
it,
runtime.
and I'm certain in real life it's a little bit more complex than that. But
Yeah.
if you got your hooks into the local Phoenix PhD or PhD PD, that's a Freudian slip.
Yeah.
The local Phoenix PD, yeah, what couldn't you do, right? You don't. It's not like the whole police department is crooked. You just have somebody who's willing, who's in the right place, right? You just need that certain guy who can do the thing,
Hmm.
and you need the certain people at the bank who are also on the take. I love too that the movie quite like honestly says like, yeah, bankers are all like degenerate, horrible people who work for the narcos. I love it.
Yeah,
It's just like,
they like go quickly over it, but they do
yeah,
say
like
it and then move
how
on.
do they find that out so quickly? Yeah, the movie is really kind of a right wing film, and I think it's unintentionally right wing. We're like, wait, are the bankers actually really part of the bat? Like, are the bankers in some ways the bankers are what allow the narcos to operate in our country? Why do we allow the bankers to do this?
Yeah.
You can easily go down a rabbit hole with that, but the movie doesn't. It's just, but I do
Yeah.
love how what is it? Matt, Josh Brolin's character says, "Don't go
Hmm.
in the bank. Don't go in the bank," and
And then he sort of sits there
he
exasperated, like,
just
I
like
told her not. Where she
told her
goes,
not
she
to go
goes
in
to
the
the
bank
bank.
because he knows, well, now we'll just use her as bait,
Yeah,
right? Like,
no,
she's
it's
bait.
really great because there are
Yeah.
several moments which are like this because Matt knows something that Kate doesn't, and it's not just because he's hiding information. It's like she knows there are cameras, and she has proof. They know this woman was money laundering. They know the
Right.
bank was helping the money launder. They know there are cameras in the banks. She doesn't draw the connections because she's sort of naive because she's not an amateur in like kidnapping hostage
Right.
situations. The movie establishes her as competent on that front at least, and she does like shoot a guy,
Yeah.
a Mexican corrupt police officer who was trying to kill her. She is
Yeah.
kind of competent with a gun, even she's physically weaker than the other male
Well, she also kills a
characters.
guy inside the kill house in the
Yes,
very
yeah,
first
that's
scene,
true.
right? Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, she's good at her job, but she's sort of naive and amateurish in this wider scale of how the cartel works and how to deal with them. And like she's sort of just like she acts almost like a little girl. She's just like exasperating the guys who are
Well,
really dealing with the
you know what I'm
problem.
really thinking about now. I initially thought maybe Villeneuve didn't mean to, or it's I guess it's Villeneuve and who wrote it. Oh, it's Sheridan. It's Taylor Sheridan, by the way. So he wrote back when, so he's the writer. Um,
What did else did he
I think
write?
he's didn't he do? Let me double check this here. He did
I don't know.
Yellowstone. So
Oh,
he
that's
did
why he did Hell
Yellowstone.
and High Water. He did
Yeah.
Yellowstone.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Yellowstone, but Hell and High Water is pretty good.
So he I mean she is what have we been talking about? I don't know why this didn't hit me earlier, but
Mm-hmm.
this is why I love talking to you. I should have gotten this instantly, but that's okay. So I'm getting older and it's been a stressful summer. So
Uh-huh.
she's a little girl who goes waltzing through the woods and she
Yeah.
finds a wolf.
Yeah,
So
I
she's
get it.
like
Yeah, it
literally
makes
Red
sense.
Riding Hood here, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to go help my grandma. I'm just here doing what I'm supposed to do to help my grandma, right? So she's quite, it's like quite literally, this is Grimm's fairy tales. This is
Mm-hmm.
Red Riding Hood, but it's Red Riding Hood in real life. No, but in
Yeah.
real life, you mean like in a fairy tale? No, in real life.
Life,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
No, yeah, it's
It,
very much like that. She sticks to the road as she's supposed to, like
right.
Little Red Riding Hood. She sticks to protocols, but it's
And there's
often the
the
protocols which get her in trouble because she only goes into the bank because she's like, "Oh, we can mount like a legal case
a
off of
legal
us. Like, come
case.
on,
Yeah,
we can finally do it." And
yeah.
like he's like, "That's
And it's
not,
like you
man,
just
that doesn't matter. That's not
it
what
doesn't
matters
matter.
here."
Yeah, yeah. Well, I love too how what is it? Uh yeah, was it Daniel Kaluuya's character who is sorry, jumping back to I want to make sure I get these names right. Reggie is like
Reggie.
he's a spook. He's a spook and she's like, "Well, I don't know that." And then it's like he's like, "Well, yeah, I'm a spook." It's like,
Yeah,
"Why do
but
you
at
need
one
us?"
point
The
he's like,
CIA needs a domestic cooperation to operate on US
"Yeah."
territory. And she's like, he's like, "Well, at least now you'll be along for the ride," or
It's
something
really
like that.
funny because at
Yeah,
one point too, probably my favorite shot scene of the movie is just after the border shootout. They get to like where they're placing the guy they captured and torturing him and interrogating him. Just before that, they get out
that
of the
scene.
car
We
and
can talk
she
about
like
that
the
scene too.
camera is like pans way out, and it's like two of them like tiny in the foreground, giant American flag like up in the
Yeah,
corner, and just like I think a random soldier just like watching this thing still. And she like starts shouting him, "You're a fucking spook!" And then like he basically calms her down, completely evades her questions, and she's never suspicious. She is suspicious and like hostile to him, but she's not like keep bringing it up. She's like completely
yeah.
pacified after that. It's kind of really funny.
Well, I love too, like the emphasis on his wearing of sandals, right? Like
Yes,
foot
and how
boots.
like
He's so casual, right? Like he's clearly not normal. He's clearly not a normal government employee, right? Like he's not. He's clearly special. Wink, wink. Like he's doing his own thing here, And she just doesn't.
uniform, he is missing an article of clothing. So I think the first
Yeah,
scene, he's only wearing sandals. The second scene, we go to the airplane, the jet where were flying to Juarez. The moment they get in the plane, he takes off his shoes. And like lays down, feet on the couch, and then we see like he has like several packets of peanuts on the floor, already eaten, just kind of thrown about, and strewn around, and he really doesn't care. Another scene is when we see him out of uniform, we're preparing for the raid in the tunnels. He's just like a not wearing a shirt. Like he just doesn't care. He jokes with the Texas sheriffs about being drunk, and
yeah,
he like raises his hand. It's like, I'm about this drunk. I'll be fine by the time we get
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Well,
he's like completely
but
comfortable in
but
this
think
world.
about too. So I'm okay now. I think I have a feeling Sheridan did this on purpose because think about in Little Red Riding Hood, right?
Hmm.
Why do you what great big eyes you have, right? What great
Hmm.
big, it's like this, and
Well,
the
with
wolf,
great big teeth, with
what great big
great
teeth,
great
and the
big
wolf
mouth
is like almost daring Red Riding Hood to guess that he's not
to
grandma, right?
notice.
Like it's
Yeah.
like, and he keeps giving her opportunities to notice that he's a wolf, and
Hmm.
she just like can't fit wolf into grandma framework, and so she's just like, I guess I'm gonna get eaten now, right? Like I guess you're just gonna eat me because I didn't like pay attention, and it's sort of like willful ignorance or willful
Yeah,
ignoring of like
you
what's happening here, and
probably the scene that is most
he
egregious
does
in
that
this respect.
over and over and over.
Yeah, is
Yeah,
this happens several times in the movie, but the scene that's most egregious, that's most like almost you can get it from her perspective because this is how just she's been acting like this the entire movie, so it makes sense in character. But like she goes out of the tunnels, she's just been shot on the or what's the bulletproof vest
chest
by
plate. Yeah,
other
she got
yeah
hit.
chest
Yeah,
plate
yeah,
yeah
yeah.
she got hit. She's like wheezing. She attacks Josh Brolin, Matt, and then he like subdues her, and she's like I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna tell everyone about this, and you're like the third time watching the movie, this is especially egregious. Like, girl, are you retarded? Like,
Yeah,
why are you telling him that? Why don't you just do it? Why don't you say, fine, I'll cooperate, and then talk?
Right.
Like you've seen what Alejandro does. You've seen what this guy's comfortable with. It, you are so lucky Alejandro went there himself. The other guys probably would have killed you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He just said, "Put your
Alejandro
point a
didn't.
gun at me again." Yeah. Go back
Yeah,
and do your job. Yeah. It's
yeah.
just
Go
like,
back and do your
yeah.
job.
It's just like she's wheezing on the ground. It's just no. And then she gets her ass beat when she gets out the other side of the tunnel. It's just like no,
Yeah.
because because like Little Red Riding Hood, she will not learn. She's like incapable of moving to that
Mm-hmm.
like, and it has to. The wolf has to tell her at the end, "I am a wolf." How could you not have known
Yeah,
before? I don't
she's
know why.
almost a villain in the movie. I forget. I think someone on Twitter a few years ago made this observation too. Like, if you watch this movie from the perspective of Alejandro and Matt, like if you just put them as heroes or protagonists, regardless of whether they should be or should be
Right.
considered as such from the movie standpoint, just put them as like the main movers of the movie, which they are. They are the driving force of the movie. Put them as the active protagonists. She is the one who is constantly like trying to roadblock them or fucking things over. Like she is like a greater like a villainous presence in the movie almost, or antagonistic at least. Maybe not villainous
Definitely
because
tell it.
that would
Yeah.
imply intention. But it's
Yeah. I
like
think.
it's
Yeah.
almost like what the hell? It's like the stupid sidekick that ruins everything. It's like that you're saddled with. It's like what? What? Who gave us this incompetent moron here? They're fucking everything over.
Well, and it's interesting too because Alejandro is so there's the Wolf Pack, which is like Matt and his CIA SOG friends,
Spooks.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
spook
yeah.
friends, and then there's Alejandro, who is like the lone
His own
wolf
beast. Yeah.
who kind of sometimes cooperates with the pack, but the pack's like even the pack of wolves are like, here's the thing about that lone wolf, you don't really want to get him angry because even we're like a little wary of him because he
Uh-huh.
is like us, but he just kind of has no pack structure. He just kind of literally will do
Mm-hmm.
whatever he wants, whatever he can to get revenge, literally anything. And again, when a wolf is warning you about another wolf, you might want to listen, but still, she's just like, no, because the protocol, because of the law, and it's like
Yeah.
they're what is the law? I mean, I think the movie also asked that question, and I love that it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't answer that question. I don't think
Yeah.
it provides an answer. What is the law really? I, I
It
guess it's
also
like,
I think
yeah,
the main one of the better scenes for this question is when she's like talking to her superiors and she's like, we're breaking protocol or whatever, and the
yes,
guy goes like, look, do you get the vibe we're winning? Like you actually did great. You got way more arrests. We killed way more
right,
bad guys than we did the other years. Do you get the vibe we're winning when you're out in the streets? Like, no, we're not. And like, look, I can't hire DOD advisors. Like, I don't have the authority to do that. The people
right,
who are here are very far away, probably in Washington, D.C., and they're elected, not appointed. And it's like
right,
his great line where the scene ends is if you're worried about crossing boundaries, don't. The boundary's been moved.
yeah,
So don't worry about it. And she
yeah,
still doesn't get it. She's like, this guy has told her, it's like, okay, like the use of werewolves has been authorized by,
yes,
by the big man up in the hill and the shadowy figures who control
yep,
the country. And she's still like, no, I refuse to accept that.
yeah,
I'm just gonna grin and bear it, but I really don't accept it at all.
yeah. And I mean, I guess so. She survives, but like, at what cost? I mean, I think she's just like she seems like a broken person at the end, right? Like
Yeah.
she probably does move to a small town
And
because
I think one of the things that makes some people have contempt for her is because for this whole movie, she's insisting on protocol, and then she's not willing to die for it,
yep,
which is the end. I think that's what makes some people not like her. I think the
it's a
fact that
very
she's a woman makes me have pity.
I
I
know you
don't.
should have pity.
If it was Daniel Kaluuya,
Yeah,
I'd still have some pity, but it'd be more like, oh, you rat.
he's a war veteran. Like you were in Iraq,
Yeah,
you
this
know
like
what?
you've been
Yeah,
to Iraq.
yeah,
If
yeah,
like Kaluuya was like the main guy and she was the lawyer sidekick,
yeah,
uh, then I'd be like, oh, you rat. You just need to like get shot here. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you at least
yeah.
have the courage of your convictions. If you're gonna
Will
be this much of a pain the whole movie to the guys who are doing something, at least like have the courage to take a bullet for it.
I think in some ways, obviously, we're reading a lot into it, but that's okay because
Yes.
we kill authors left, right, and center here. We like to kill the author here at this in this channel. It kind of doesn't matter what Sheridan and Villeneuve wanted because it's the movie's made a certain way and it's telling a
Mm-hmm.
story. And I think Kate represents the principled liberal who
Yes.
actually does want to make things better, because I mean we call them shit libs because we like to make fun of them, but they're not all of them are shit libs. Some are just libs. Some are just libs who are actually,
Yeah.
like you said, kind of like the center left, center right, but they kind of just they want this thing that maybe never really existed, but they really want to have like a law-based, order-based, like principled society. The problem is maybe you can have that. I won't even get into that now. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
you can have that, but if you literally don't have a border that functions where you can have like you can have monopoly on violence in a realm, then how are you going to have that? And so she kind of
Mm-hmm.
represents, that's how I read this, is she
Yeah.
has to crash out. She has to crash out, and she's very stubborn. She's incredibly
Yeah, she
stubborn in her crash out. Had she crashed out two-thirds of the way through the film, we would have a very different ending, right? And maybe she wouldn't even have survived, because maybe she would
yeah.
have gotten too deep in and wouldn't have been able to handle what she was into. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like this is the crash out point where you realize it, like you said, you actually do need the werewolves. Like they have a function. You
Mm-hmm.
don't even have to like them. You probably actually shouldn't like them. And I feel like Alejandro would be the first to say, I'm not a good person, and you really should
No.
probably have nothing to do with me, right? Because he's really honest despite being this kind of monster. He's very honest. Like he
Yeah.
he manipulates, but she also kind of like doesn't ask a lot of straight questions. So he's like, well, whatever. Like, if you're gonna
I
be
mean, when she
rude,
was trying to get him to talk first, like, okay, who sent you? Like, where are you from? Like,
yeah,
when they're planning the border crossing with the
yeah,
prisoner, he's like, oh, I go where I'm sent. He
yeah.
doesn't. It's like, are you
Go where
Mexico?
I'm
It's like, I
sent.
worked in Mexico. Where were you before? He actually gives a straight answer. Like, where were you sent from? When he says like, I go where I sit, he just kind of pauses for a second and he says Cartagena, and which is in Colombia. He
And the fact
actually
that she
answers
didn't get
her
that connection
honestly.
was like, come on, girl. Like, I know, even I was like, yeah, Cartagena, that's Medellin,
And
but
she
whatever.
knew it was Colombia. Like, maybe she didn't know the location. She's like, no, she says Colombia. And it's like, she actually thinks he's CIA before Matt, before she thinks Matt is CIA. She
Right,
actually says, why, like, this guy's CIA, right? And it's
right.
like, no, you've got the wrong type of monster here. That's the other guy who's
Yeah,
also pretty scary, but he's his own beast. This guy, Alejandro, is something different.
yeah. I
He's
mean, again,
wilder.
the wolf without a pack, right? And so, I mean, too. I mean, I guess the movie too, kind of, now that I think about it, kind of makes at least me value the wolves with a pack. And so, like,
Yeah.
yeah, the pack
It's
wolves are maybe a good thing,
interesting
right? Like,
that he had one before because we meet his lawyer friend who's a
right,
more higher up now. And
yeah,
he realizes he's a guy who like works with the protocols, but also knows the value of wolves because he leans in to tell Alejandro, there's a tunnel there, like da 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 da. This is what
yeah,
you need to find out. This is the information you're looking for. Be
right,
careful, we're gonna move everything in 3 days.
yeah,
And Alejandro's actually nice to him. He says, like, I'm happy to see you're still fighting the good fight.
yeah.
He's not at all like how he kind of treats Kate, which is like a child throwing a tantrum, like when she pointed a gun at him. It was like, never point a gun at me again. Now go back and do your job. It's like,
Yeah,
you fucking idiot child. And then
yeah,
goes on his murder spree.
I
But
know.
yeah, there is his lawyer friend who is sort of like a more flexible character, and it's like, yeah, I know, and he knows Alejandro's Medellin at this point. There's no way he like, I think he calls him Medellin or something. I don't
Yeah, I think
remember
he
right
says,
now.
yeah, yeah. I think yeah.
Either
And
him or the guy who's being tortured
the guy is
says
being tortured,
Medellin.
and then it goes right
Sa
into that really uncomfortable torture scene where the water is not used, but the water is picked up and brought in. So you're like, I don't know if this is waterboarding that's happening in this
No,
one. I don't think
no, it
that's
was
waterboarding.
probably some form of sodomy. I think the waterboarding was, someone pointed this out, it's probably both to trick the audience
Yeah,
and the lawyer. Because he says to the lawyer, because the lawyer's gonna go in the room, and
yeah,
Alejandro stops him, picks up a water bottle, says, something might happen in that room.
yeah.
And to give him, it's like, oh, I'm not gonna do anything, too crazy. It's
Right,
just, basic waterboarding, and
right.
then never even opens it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty grim. It's pretty grim,
it
and
is.
it's great that like Matt's character is
He's
also
just like
such a
chilling on the
monster.
table.
Yeah, he's like, oh, why are you looking at me? No hablo
Yeah, yeah,
inglés,
yeah. No
remember?
hablo. Yeah,
But even Steve's character leaves. Matt's character just like smiling on the table, looking at it,
I
and he
know.
doesn't care. He's
Yeah.
like almost enjoying it.
I guess again, and I'm not necessarily advocating for Matt's or Alejandro's character's outlook, but if you've seen the things they've seen, and you've seen what
Yeah.
what narcos do, and you've seen how they treat people, then you kind of have to, I mean, I guess to do what they do, you have to dehumanize them. It's like absolutely necessary for your job. You have to like consciously dehumanize. You're like, I will now treat these people as animals. And
Yeah.
I'm probably also becoming an animal in the process, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make because the only way to fight animals is to become an animal. Now, whether that, I mean, that's at least how their characters, I think, rationalize
Mm-hmm.
things. But it is interesting. I mean, like, because now it's just like a chimp that's gone on a murder spree. Well, you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have to just kill the chimp. I mean, the chimp has no
Yeah.
rights. It's just a chimp, right? He chimped out, so now here we go,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
we gotta shoot him. I don't like it, but
it
we gotta
just
shoot the chimp.
we
Yeah.
gotta just do this thing to him now, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of darkly humorous in a way. I guess there's a dark humor to that in a way, right? Like, but yeah, man, holy shit, when when Alejandro just puts his crotch right up into his face.
Yeah,
You're
that's
like,
like it
this
shouldn't
isn't
be
it.
as intimidating as it is. But Villeneuve has a great attention to especially sound, and you hear like all the rustle of clothing and
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
impact of his groin on his shoulder, and
yeah,
it's like, and you hear his labored breathing and him like looking down in a
yeah,
way. It's really intimidating, actually.
yeah.
It's
And I
with
love
Matt
how
just sitting
we
there in the
don't see that
corner
guy
like a
ever
ghoul.
again. Whatever his name
Yep.
is, he gets tortured. He's just
I think
gone.
it's Guillermo.
Yeah,
Actually,
Guillermo. Okay,
ironically,
Guillermo. Yeah,
Benicio del Toro tortures Guillermo,
that's
which is
funny.
somewhat ironic.
That is,
But yeah,
yeah,
it's Guillermo, and it's great because like us one scene later, we're interviewing the illegal migrants, and like and then Reggie and Kate ask like have a conversation like, what are we
yeah,
trying to find here? And he says, okay, fine, the fucking tunnels Guillermo told us about. And Kate's like, yeah, he just told you about it. Like that, just like that, huh? And then he says, "Well, prison in America is way better than like sending him to die in Mexico." It's like cut the. And even then, in at this point, even Kate's like, "Cut the bullshit." And then he's like, "Okay, everything will be fine. Just trust us, okay? Just, uh,
yeah,
just trust us." And then he like walks away.
yeah.
It's
It
great.
it is great actually. Yeah. So I guess we could maybe just start tying it up. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
really
we
glad
could.
I'm glad I rewatched the movie. I should
It's
I
great.
should
It's
it
really
should
good.
I should everyone you if you have a movie that you love that you've been thinking about, watch it. Don't wait 10 years to watch it again because
Mm-hmm.
it was I'm like this is actually a legit good movie. It's not just violent action. It's like I think it has something to say about like we said like violence and the
Yeah,
absolute
it's not a
necessity of
movie you
violence.
actually watch for the action. As weird
No.
as it is to say, because the action scenes are pretty good, but they're very sparse
Yep.
and they're very quick, which is how a gunfight usually
Which is
goes.
how a
Like,
gunfight actually kind of
I
is.
think,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
people call this scene the border shootout. I think if you type it into YouTube, that's how, like,
yeah,
the YouTube, like, some official clip channels, like, clipped
yeah.
it, like, the border shootout in Sicario. But, like, the shooting itself lasts, like, what, 10 seconds?
Something
Because
like that.
they massacre both of the guys,
I
and
mean,
then
they
there's
just take
one extra.
all of them out. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
because these guys are very good at what they
well,
do.
and they're even just their weapons are so much nicer than like what these guys
Yeah.
like. These are like really nice M4 military
Yes.
M4s and stuff like that. Like these are, and I mean, I'm not like the biggest. I'm not a great shot. I do some shooting. Just that was another thing too is having waited 10 years and watching again. I've gotten into guns and I'm like, those are really nice guns those guys have. I'm like, those are
And like,
legit weapons. Like you have like what like a rusty 1911 pistol and you're going to go up against that guy who's
yeah.
trained who has you think you killed some people as a narco, that guy has killed a lot more people probably. He's much better at the and you're just going to go. I guess that's just the culture, right? Like I said I'm
Yeah.
going to go and so I'm going to do it, but I'm like what you think you're going to hit any, but they're just going to, which is what happens, they're just like
Yeah.
kill,
Bah,
they're
bah,
just
bah, bah. Yeah,
dead.
they're
Yeah,
very
like
quick.
everyone in the car is now dead. Like yeah,
Yeah, they kill like 8 people, like two full cars, 4 people each, in like 3 seconds.
something
It's
like
like
that.
maybe even less for each if you like take out the time in between. It's
Yeah,
like really quick. But 95% of the scene is really good buildup. You hear shots fired in the
yeah,
distance. You have to reroute it. It's like,
yeah,
oh, there was a car accident before, so like we're gonna
yeah,
clear it up. It's gonna take some time. If you're looking out, lower your window. I want to see out of there. I want to lean my gun against it. It's
yeah,
all this planning and all these little moves, spotting like who has a gun, who might not,
yeah,
and then like very quick action. And
yeah.
it's amazing, but you don't watch it for like a John Wick action
No,
sequence.
no,
No,
yeah, yeah.
you're watching it because Villeneuve's a master at tension. And
Tension,
wait,
yeah.
the sound effects in the movie Like you feel notice everything is like really loud. Like I've never heard someone eating, especially like the breakfast scenes at the Mexican. Like that is the loudest I have ever heard anyone eat in a movie since like
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King,
yeah,
since
with
the
Denethor,
Denethor.
with
Yeah,
the
since
with
the
the cherry
Denethor
tomato.
scene.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that is like the loudest I've. It is like every like little like movement of the fork or the
The
knife of the
swallowing
cutlery,
sound.
if a
Yeah,
solid is
yeah,
so loud.
yeah,
It's also really loud in the final scene, which helps it in the not the final scene, but the last scene at the mansion. Like
yeah,
the kid's like he's like shyly or timidly moving
yeah,
the
yeah. The
fork because the
fork.
guy
Yeah,
said eat, and he like
yeah,
doesn't really. It's like really loud, and there's nothing else being said.
yeah,
He's very good at these details.
yeah.
But yeah, it's worth watching, especially if you like just a really good thriller. Just very solid, beautifully shot,
Oh,
actually.
very pretty. Yeah.
Very, very pretty, great performances. You'll learn if you like just like the technicalities of cinema, it's worth looking into how he did certain shots, the night vision shots and the heat vision shots in the tunnels. Just how he's framing certain things, especially against the horizon and the sun at different times of day. It's really, especially because the places themselves aren't that beautiful, except for maybe the desert and the sun. Like the apartment blocks aren't
Oh,
pretty.
yeah,
The
yeah.
office buildings aren't
I was
pretty.
gonna say,
Uh,
sir, that's my American Southwest you're talking about. But
I'm
yes,
not
yes.
talking about the landscape. I'm
Oh, yeah,
talking
yeah.
like if you ever actually look at like the buildings they're coming to and fro, it's like these ugly
It's
block
really bad.
things. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like
yeah,
really
yeah,
like depressingly drab.
yeah,
But yet he manages to make it look like kind of really cool and imposing.
yeah.
It's he's very good at doing that.
He is. He is. Yeah. So people check it out if you haven't seen it. We've spoiled
Hmm.
whole sections of it, but yeah, and it really it's
Still
not
worth
just
watching, trust me.
and it's not just a werewolf movie. It's really one of the earlier werewolf stories, which is Red Riding Hood, right? Which is
Yes.
itself like an archetype of a story, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Of the innocent girl who goes and meets the creature.
The kid getting lost in the woods archetype.
Yeah,
It's probably a better exemplar even than Hansel and Gretel in a way.
it is. Yeah, it is because yeah, I mean it is. Yeah, because if you would almost be, it almost would almost be easier if it was just a witch they had to go up against. But it's like this network of wolves, right? That like does wolfy shit and
I mean, yeah,
not a
yeah. I
wolf.
mean, Little Red Riding Hood, if you really think about it, is also kind of the archetypal skinwalker story. Like
Yeah.
every like, oh, we heard like something crying, "Help! Help! Help!" out in the woods at night when I was like hiking with my buddies, and we ran the fuck out of there
Oh,
because
you've
that was
actually
just
this is a
no,
real
no.
thing.
I've
Oh,
read
okay.
there's several stories like these floating around in
Yeah.
4chan since like 15 years ago. Even before that, if you read it like old collect like there are people who will just say have these stories like collected in like
Yeah.
these old books. So this is a fairly common story. It could be a bird, of course, just like
Right.
shout it, just repeat. But on the off chance it isn't, you book it out of there, and it's like repeating in the monotone. You book it out there real quick.
Yeah,
You
no,
don't
don't.
stick around.
Yeah, you do not. Well, Bulge, thanks for coming on.
It was a
I know
pleasure.
you're busy, but hopefully this spooky season we can have you on again. Um, I declare this. Well, it's not fall yet, but I'm declaring
Hmm.
this fall the fall of werewolves, the fall of the wolf. And so I'm hoping to I'm going to be doing some stuff on my various uh cross-listing platformy things about wolves and werewolves. And so this, I think, in some ways is kind of a you didn't know this going into it, but this is sort of
Yes,
an inaugural wolf episode. But I mean, it is there. It's a wolfy movie, and
it's a
I
wolfy
still think
movie.
Benicio del Toro. I think one of the they didn't even need the CGI stuff in Wolfman. He looks like a wolf. He just does. He's got when he has the sideburns, like this dude looks wolfy. So
I actually should. I might watch that movie tonight or something because I'm so curious to like. I don't know how old Emily Blunt is, but she looks like a good 10 years younger than Benicio, who even like late 40s looks like he's like his face looks like it's been through centuries. It's a very
it
bizarre
really
face.
does. Yeah, he has a great face.
So
His
like
face
I'm
tells a
curious
story.
like how did he look in that? Because he looks wolfy. It's true, especially when he grows his beard out a little bit. Or actually, especially when it's not like it's like it's not a 5 o'clock shadow when it's just like recently shaved like 5 days
Yeah,
ago when
yeah,
she looks like in this movie and it's like very disorganized. That's what he looks really wolfy.
yeah. Well, yeah, and if you get a chance to watch Wolfman, maybe we can do a whole episode on Wolfman because I contend that's a good movie that everyone hated on back in 2010, and I think that's a shame. I
2010
don't know.
movie. Okay,
It's a
I
shame.
will look it
It's
up if
fun.
I'll probably have it on Netflix. It looks so biz. Okay, yeah, it is Emily Blunt. Man, that's
Yeah.
so weird.
Yeah. Cool. Well, and I mean, I guess I'll do some shout outs.
Mm-hmm.
If people aren't hip to the Scarlet Thread Society with Pause from Timeline Earth, you should be. I'll put links in the description here. Once a month, I do a deep dive, sort of schizo deep dive podcast with Pause, along with lots of other stuff. There's book clubs. There's live watchings of like True Detective and stuff, and other movie watching stuff. So if you're into weird, strange conspiracy, ghost, alien, Secret Service, whatever, banking systems, anything like that, check it out.
It's well
Uh,
worth the money, everyone. It's one of the few Patreons I subscribe to. It's well
yeah.
worth it.
For August, I'll tease that me and Paz are going to be doing a defense of David Bowie and why he is one of our guys for real, for real.
Hmm. Oh,
So we're
I love the Thin White Duke.
Yeah, yes.
Impossible not to.
So we're gonna be doing that, and obviously, coming into spooky season, we'll be getting into more spooky stuff, overtly spooky stuff. Bulge, anything you want to tell
No, at
people
the moment,
about?
I'm very inactive, actually, at the moment in anything digital or virtual. So no, I'm very glad to just reshill the Paz Scarlet Thread Society Patreon. I will also shill the TLE Patreon, not for TLE, but in the Scarlet Thread Connection, the Mystery Babylon series
Yes.
they are doing, Paz and Bird. It is well worth it. It is many, many hours of content. I think it's approaching like 20 something hours
Yep.
now. I think it's past the 20-hour mark at this point. It's very worth it. They break down a lot of stuff from Bill Cooper, especially him, and have some every now and then critiques or reactions or thoughts or tying it into other stuff that both Paz and Bird are working on. So very much worth your money. Always fascinating, and also listening to Bill Cooper is also pretty great.
It's
He
pretty
has a
fun.
great voice, yeah.
He was, man, R.I.P. He was a turbo boomer, and he's
Yeah.
gone, and that's a shame because he could do it. Yeah.
Dude, he was yeah. I've begun liking him a lot as the hours go on and on.
Yeah, the smoker's rasp. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
great, man.
yeah.
I still need
Cool.
to look into his death. Everyone keeps mentioning like
Oh
the
yeah. Well,
FBI
I'm
and
certain they're
CIA
gonna.
killed him.
So now that's a whole. What little I know of it is very suspicious. So yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So
I'll look into it. I'll see what I
look
can
into
find
it.
because that's interesting. I know he
Cool.
and Art Bell had like a little feud,
There was
which
a
is
yeah,
funny
and
to
I'm really
me.
more of a Art Bell guy, so
There was pause,
I have
from what
some
I
beef
know.
with Cooper, but yeah, it's fine. I'm an Art Bell camp guy, so I like him. But yeah, cool.
Anyway,
Well,
go watch it, folks. It's
yeah,
worth your
watch it.
time and it's worth your money. It's especially Doc's deep dives on Scarlet Fred. I really like Paz sitting down at the office hours as a student. It's a
Yes.
great bit. It always gets me. I always forget it and I start at the episode. It's always good.
We are absolutely committed to never stopping the kayfabe. So
Yeah, dude,
we're
it's so
absolutely
good.
committed to this. All right.
Things get wild over there. Listen to the Screaming Therapy video if you have it. Please go check it out. It got way wilder than I thought at
Yeah.
one point.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
way, yeah.
Yeah.
Things get weird
The
very quickly
esoteric
down in
history of
Scarlet Thread
Tears for
land.
Fears. We did an
Yeah.
esoteric history of Tears for Fears, which was very actually terrifying for me to realize what was going. Yeah, it was strange. So cool. All right. Well, everyone, take it easy.
Hmm.
Bulge, thanks again for coming.
It was a
We know
pleasure.
you're down there in Brazil. We appreciate it. You've survived Brazil yet another day, and
Yeah.
you decided to spend
Yet
some time
another
with
day.
us. We appreciate
One more
that.
victory. Yeah.
One more victory. Yes, every day is a victory. All right. Until then, everyone. Until next time. See you. Have a good
Till
one.
next time.
Bye bye.